Hey, we
Hey, we're the
are
monkeys.
back with another thrilling
You
edition.
know, I really like your mom's setup. She's got us on the big TV
Uh-huh,
in her room.
uh-huh,
She has her iPad, so
uh-huh,
she's ready
uh-huh,
to, put in a comment,
uh-huh, uh-huh.
register her opinion,
It's a
ask her
dedicated,
questions.
she's a dedicated podcast mom.
She's a dedicated podcast mom.
Dedicated pod mom.
How many
Oh,
podcasts have we done here?
A
This is the first time
billion.
I've seen it on the TV.
Oh, on in this house?
Yeah,
I mean, a couple at this point. So,
I like it. I think it's great.
the team back together, not in person, but back together.
Yeah.
It's been a bit. We've had some hiatuses. We're doing a lot
Hi,
of
podcast mom.
Where Brandon's been on assignment everywhere around the world.
Oh, my
We're
goodness.
house
How are you
hunting everywhere
feeling,
in
man?
Oregon.
I
Yeah, are you? The jet lag he said is just hitting him.
I feel
so-
like that Robin Williams gift from Jumanji. What year is it?
Yeah. So yeah. So if Brandon starts falling asleep during the show, then
It may happen.
it's
I was
I-
close.
He's very jet lagged.
I think at that point we just all stare
Just all-
at Brandon.
I'll tell you, if I fall asleep, take a drink.
there we go.
Every time Brandon falls asleep, take a
New
drink.
rule. New rule.
All right.
Oh my gosh. How do we do the show again? What did we talk about? Dogs? Is this a dog podcast?
Yeah. So here's why boxers, in my mind, are the
Alright,
best
no,
breed,
it's-
right? So they
Jack
have a
is the best
doofus to
breed.
them. Look, it's a lovable doofus. and
All
they're
right.
so-
Anyway, we're
okay.
gonna talk space. We got a thrilling edition of High in the Sky for you. So, we ready to get started? Or is our chit chat done?
Sure.
Yeah, fuck it.
How many people we got?
We got my mom, and who knows else who was stalking in on us.
All right, we got
Anyway,
two viewers.
all right, ready? You ready? You ready? You ready out there, audience? All right.
All ready.
Hey everyone! No, oh, gosh, Brandon, count it in. Count it in.
And in 5, 4.
Hey everyone! Welcome to another episode of Cosmos with Cosmos. I'm Liz.
I'm Mike.
And I'm jet lagged.
Is that the name of your drink?
Oh,
That's
it
a
should
good.
be.
That's a good drink name. And this
It
is
is actually. That's solid.
and this is another edition of High in the Sky, where
High
we
in the sky.
talk about what's coming up in the night sky in the next month. Really, kind of in April, since March is winding down, and some astronomy news, and then we'll just shoot the shit and see what goes on.
I think we should talk about houses.
We'll talk about houses. Oh my god,
Houses.
this house dilemma. Anyway, also my sister is on the way over from Portland
Yeah.
for a visit. She should arrive in about an hour, so there may be a little bit of hoopla.
Chaos.
So be prepared to take a drink when the dogs bark there. But we'll get into the rules in a second. Speaking of drinks, it is Cosmos with Cosmos. What you drinking there, Mike?
I am drinking VHS 1256B.
Hey,
Sounds
VHS,
like-
going back to the...
Sounds like a really bad 80s movie.
It does. It does. Though, I mean, there is that horror movie that's called VHS.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I think it's from 1999.
But it was like V and then like something
Slash
A.
H
Yeah,
slash
that's what it
S,
was,
yeah.
Yeah, so this has orange juice in it. It also has vanilla vodka and cardamom infused simple syrup.
How is that?
It's really not bad. And
Oh.
so I misjudged. Okay, so I put in like I normally do. I guess I put in too much ice. And so the level of the alcohol mix was pretty high.
Oh, this is
And
gonna
not
have a
much
good
not
episode.
much on the mixer. So it's really and truly it's vodka with a little simple syrup and orange juice. Just drinking vodka today. That's all I got. What are you drinking?
Oh, I am. Crap! I didn't think of a drink name.
Dirty Snowball?
No, I've already used that one.
All right. Anyway, Brandon, what are you drinking? Well,
Let me
Oh,
think about
geez.
it. Let me think about it. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
go really slow,
so
Brandon.
I do not have a fancy drink name, but I do have rum from India that you can only buy in India, which is kind of fun. It's called Old Monk.
Old Muck.
Old Monk. Now, the story, from what I can gather, where Old Monk came from, this name behind it, is that in the, I think, late 1800s, early 1900s, there was some kind of massacre thanks to the British colonialism. And then a monk
Naturally.
came by
course.
and somehow managed to kill or get the British out of there, and in that land set up a distillery or something like that. And now they make rum there.
Wow, I didn't know the monks were so boozy.
Oh God, yeah, they
Yeah?
are.
I
They
mean, I
make
guess that's the
wine,
only way they
make
can
all
get
this
through the
stuff.
whole, their monk life.
Yeah,
I
so
guess.
Hashtag monk life.
Hashtag monk life.
no monks will see that hashtag monk life.
But this is the last bits of it I have.
So that
Well,
sounds
I
good.
think it should be called jet lag. I mean, seriously,
Jet
that's
lag,
what
yeah.
that's what it ought
It's
to be.
jet lagged. It's jet lagged. I am drinking a Venus drop. Hey. It is vodka, limoncello, simple syrup, and some lemon juice.
Yes.
So it's a Venus drop, which is a play on lemon drop.
And also, sorry, this is actually phenomenal rum. This is really
Is
good.
it?
I forgot how good it was.
And you
Not
just drinking
usually
it
a
straight?
rum.
On the
I
rock?
cut with a bit of water.
Okay, so
Okay.
pretty much straight.
So pretty much straight, yeah.
And
Let's see,
Jack's got raspberry mocha that is a brewing.
Oh,
After he
that
cleared the
sounds good.
driveway of
Clearing
some
the
ice.
driveway off of ice, or ice off the drive. Yeah, I haven't even had any alcohol yet, and I already don't know.
Man, we had
how
to
to
drive
talk.
in some snow yesterday. That was crazy.
We got some pretty good snow here today. This
Did
morning.
you?
It was coming down real hard.
Wow, man, the weather's been wild. This weekend we had been through rain and snow and hail and more snow and sunshine and rain. It's been
There
wild.
wasn't any hail, but there was a lot of
Well,
snow.
it was like little hail. It was like little ice ball hail.
little styrofoam balls.
Yeah.
I was in a really good thunderstorm in Delhi, the kind where like the lightning would go from one end of the sky all the way to the other in a single bolt. It was really cool.
That's cool. That's cool. You know what? I haven't even tasted my drink yet.
All right. I tell you what. Okay.
I am the host of this show. This episode.
Hostess mostess.
Host of this episode, everybody. All right. Well, we got our drinks in. So, of course, follow us on all the things on Twitter at Drinking Cosmos. Everywhere else, Cosmos with Cosmos. And you can listen to the episodes on the Spotify's, Anchor.fm, where Google, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Or you can just watch the shenanigans on YouTube. Yeah. And you can see our wonderful faces. And of course, we have some friends out there that are doing some great stuff, like my sister, fantastic artist. You can check her out on Etsy, Wildixia. Our good buddy Ron Proctor, Mr. Proctor Show. I can't remember the name of his new website or his new thing that he's doing.
Yeah.
And then Jack at rollingbluffsplanetarium.com. You can see what he's doing if you're in the Iowa, Nebraska area of the Midwest and hanging out in that neck of the U.S. woods, so to speak. And of course, we have some drinking rules, slash, I guess it's really a game. If some dogs bark, take a drink. Highly likely in this episode when my sister actually arrives. If we make any Star Wars or Lord of the Rings references, because we are nerds, and especially because Brandon's on the show today, take a drink as well. But for now, let's get high with drinks in the sky and see what's
Let's
up
do
there.
it.
Yeah, we're end of March, coming into April. It's officially spring, even though
It does not feel like it outside.
the weather
With all
has
the
been
snow
wacky.
that we have endured.
Yeah.
This has been crazy ass weather.
It's been a while, but technically it's spring. So we have our wintertime constellations that are on the way out. They're saying goodbye. Taurus, Orion, Canis Major, which has Sirius in it, the brightest star in the nighttime sky. They're setting early in the west now, earlier and
I
earlier
don't want
until.
them to set.
Huh?
I don't want them to set.
I know those are the.
I was
those are-
always,
those
when
are
we
good
lived in
ones.
Phoenix, I was always sad to see Orion
Well,
go.
yeah, that's a billion degree
Yes.
days are coming. That's what
Yeah,
that
was
means.
nice. Speaking in the sky, so a couple weeks ago I was in Colombia and I went out and went to go
country?
see, the country, not the one here. And I went out and went to go find North. So where's Polaris? Oh, right.
You're in the wrong. You're in the wrong hemisphere.
You're pretty
There's
much
no
well.
Polaris there.
Oh, but Colombia, I think, split. So I think
because it's closer to the equator.
Yeah, I think it's got a little bit
I don't know
above and a little bit below.
geography.
Were you above or below?
Below, I think.
Oh yeah, there's no. But even if you were at the equator, it's like the North Star.
So
would
you
just
could
be-
get then did you try to look for any microscopium or telescopium
Large and small magellanic
or
clouds?
what's the Horolux or whatever? I don't know.
So remember how many stars we got in Phoenix?
Yeah.
Like
Oh.
divide
4?
that by like half.
Okay,
So
you,
two. They had two
all right,
stars.
all right. So
Yeah.
lots of light pollution then is what we're saying. Okay.
Back in
Gotcha.
like 2011, whatever, I went to New Zealand, and so I get there and I have to go to a War of the Worlds meeting,
Ugh, the worst.
and so
Jeez, those production meetings.
so I did that, and I was like, all right, I am so tired. I'm gonna go back to the hotel, but the plan was for like the next night to go to the observatory at the place, Stardome Observatory, and on One Tree Hill, and
It's a TV
it was
show.
cloudy for the next 2 weeks. I was not able to see the large and small Magellanic clouds or anything like that.
Oh,
So
Worst. I'm gonna keep derailing this conversation unless Liz takes us back.
Yeah,
she's gonna take
speaking
us
of the
back.
northern hemisphere sky, again, wintertime constellations are, trying to be quiet, set my drink down there, are on the way out. So Sirius, the brightest star in the nighttime sky, is setting in the southwest. Conversely, the two brightest stars in the sky, Arcturus, the springtime star in the constellation of Bootes, the bear herder,
Oh,
is
after Sirius sets.
as Sirius is setting, Arcturus
Okay,
is
got
going
you,
to be
got you.
rising in the east. So those are two of the brightest stars in the sky during this
Booty?
time right now. Arcturus and Bootes.
Booties?
Booties.
Booties.
And it's
Rising in the sky.
Sirius is going to be like a bright whitish star to your eyes, and Arcturus is going to be a bright reddish star.
Yes, Arcturus.
Yes.
I had
Because
booties in my head again.
our springtime constellations rising in the east during late evening now. All right, and a couple other ones of those are Lyra the harp. It kind of looks like a Jesus fish in the sky.
Like a
Let's
what?
think of
A
goldfish.
Jesus fish. That's
A
the best way I
goldfish.
can
Oh, the Jesus
describe,
fish.
like,
I always think of it as a
like-
tie.
that's how I draw fish, is like, the
Yeah, I
thing
don't
and
think it
then
was
the-
Jesus fish. Though. I just think it was stick figure
But
fish.
but I think a visualization. Everybody knows what the Jesus fish looks like.
That's
right?
not true.
Well, they're on a
Most
lot.
people
They're on a lot
know-
of cars in Utah.
Not where I just came from.
Okay, well, that's fair. That's
true.
fair. All right, so
Lots of swastikas there, though.
but
the good
that's
kind.
not the good
good
kind of
kinds.
the not culturally appropriated swastikas. And Gemini, the twins,
Castor and Pollux.
Castor and Pollux, which are the brightest, the two main stars in Gemini. So those are rising. And again, for those of you who are looking at the night sky and you're like, what are these things? You can download sky maps for your cell phone, where you can just point your phone at the sky and it'll show you what
Yeah.
you're looking at. And yes, Mom, I know I need to help you with yours, so you can. Get
We should
that set
actually
up.
create our own little sky charts and have them for people. It'd be
Sounds
easy
difficult. Oh.
To do. It'd be really easy to do. No, I mean, Brandon, you and I work for a company that makes software that can show it. So
You
I
don't
know
mean an
why I
app.
was
You
thinking
don't
like
mean an app.
creating our own programs to track things when
No.
we just have it at our fingertips. You're right.
I have it right over there.
Yes. What do you do for a living?
It's a good question.
I know what I'm doing Monday instead of working.
Making some sky
What are you doing?
charts.
Making sky charts.
Oh yeah.
And Bootes, by the way, being the bear herder, the
Wait a minute. You heard bears?
Yeah, he herds bears, so that means
What?
he's
You can herd
herding
bears?
the big and little bears, Canis Major and Canis Major, which are in the northern part of the sky, which can be seen all year round, depending on your latitude in the northern hemisphere, around the sky, and that's how he got his name, because he's near them.
Well, does herding bears work out?
And I was gonna say, besides Botes, how many bear herders exist?
I don't know.
Apparently,
I mean,
there was one, and then there was none.
I
wonder
guess,
why.
I
Herding
guess
bears.
ask the Ringling Brothers.
Can
Did
you
they have
imagine,
bears?
like, old Booties goes home to his wife and goes, "Hey, I have a new job lined up. I'm going to herd bears." I mean, he quickly died after that, but you know,
Well, I don't
I
know.
know
Maybe
there's
it was
the
like
opposite the opposite of bear herder in like Scandinavian countries. There was a job posting a couple years ago, going out to a small town and just walking around in a car with a rifle and shooting when the polar bear comes to scare the polar bears away.
Oh,
But you can't
yeah.
sh-
Well, I mean, you
But
kind
you
of have
can't
to
shoot
do
the
that.
polar bears because they would just
No.
eat you.
And they're also
So-
like endangered, right?
Yeah, but they'd still
Oh,
eat
very
you.
much
One
so.
guy's not going to do it.
No, and they're starving. They're starving. So
So
of
that
course.
is anti-bear herder, though.
Jack says modern bear hunters are a wild thing that will take this stream to a very dark place. Yeah, we don't need to think about bear hunters. Let's just think
Here
about
I am going to the 100-acre woods yet again.
boaties. You can find Arcturus actually by using the Big Dipper and the handle of the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper, very recognizable asterism, meaning that it's a shape we make up that's a part of an official constellation, such as Ursa Major, which is what the Big Dipper is a part of. And its handle, that end of its handle tip actually will point straight to Arcturus.
Yeah. Arc to Arc.
Arc to
Spike to Spica.
Arcturus. Spica being in the constellation of Virgo,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is not up quite yet.
But it is a springtime one, though.
It is a springtime one up yet, but it's going to be up like way later and further into
southeast
spring.
when it
And
goes.
Virgo is one of those constellations that has fairly dim stars, so in any light polluted area, you're not really going to see it. Whereas Boötes, you should be able to at least make out. It kind of looks like an ice cream cone.
Yeah.
In the sky. And it's
Ice
a little
cream
bit
cone
more
with little
visible.
feet.
Little walkable ice cream
Little
cone.
feetsies. Little booties. Little booties.
Little booties on boaties.
I was right there. We missed it.
Yeah.
Federico.
Oh, my
By the
God.
way, bear meat tastes good.
All right. I would assume.
I mean, we
could
had
get that.
reindeer when we went
did
to
have reindeer in
Alaska.
Yeah, caribou.
We didn't have
Caribou.
we didn't have the northern lights,
We
but
didn't know
we
because
did
it was
have
cloudy
reindeer.
and we didn't pick the.
It was
right
good,
time
and my
of year to
dad
go.
loves reindeer from time that he was in Norway, stationed in
Wow.
Norway for a year.
Well,
Apparently, some little old lady, like the little old tea lady in India, the little old lady,
Oh,
but
tea
instead
people.
of tea, he got like reindeer
got
meat.
reindeer meat. Would you like some reindeer meat? Hanging out with the constellations in the sky are some planets. Of course, good old planets of the solar system. Just driving along the ecliptic, the path of our solar system across the
They're
sky.
little-
They're just in their little
Saturn,
planet cars.
in one of those little old Saturn cars.
Saturn drives a Saturn.
What would Jupiter drive?
Oh, Jupiter
Jeep.
would
It's gotta be a
drive
Jeep.
something big though. Maybe.
Oh, what's that
Like-
big like military
I
one?
don't know. I see.
Humvees,
Although I do kind of.
Hummers.
Maybe Jupiter would be like an old like Volkswagen wagon camper
It
thing.
can like barely
Like,
fit into.
No, Jupiter's in like a Mini Cooper. This was a weird.
You know what I
track
love
of,
about the planets is that they predict our future.
They're what?
Predict our future. Planets, our
No.
personalities.
We're not there yet on my rant, but no, they don't. Okay, so
Well, that's debatable, Liz.
in the evening sky, Jupiter and Mercury, they're going to be very low above the horizon in the early evening, the eastern horizon in the early evening. And April 21st through May 14th, Mercury will be in
What'd you
retrograde.
lose, Brandon?
All right.
What
Can
happened?
anyone in the chat hear that clicking, or is it just me going insane? It's gone now. God damn it.
It's you. It's your fault.
Yeah, put it in the chat if you
If
were
you
clicking
hear
on
weird
it.
clicking, then
But he like disappeared for a
Or
second.
am I like unplugging things, trying to figure this
maybe
out?
you're being haunted. I don't know. What did you bring home with you from your travels? Speaking of
did-
things that aren't real, Mercury will be going in retrograde motion.
Okay, so it's Mercury. I wasn't sure from the notes if that was Mercury or Jupiter.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Mercury is going into retrograde. What does this mean to you? Absolutely nothing. It's an optical illusion. What retrograde is the planets appear to move backwards in the skies from our perspective. It's kind of like when you're driving on the highway and you are moving faster than a car next to you, that car appears to move backwards, sort of thing, and
Well,
vice
yeah,
versa.
But just like the car can, Mercury can also impact how I feel.
No.
So it makes sense.
Yes,
if the
it
car
can.
cuts me
No.
off, I get angry.
But
So
that's
it's
because of
retrograde.
Mars. That's because of Mars. Mars
It's,
makes you angry. Makes you want to break things.
No,
Mars is the punk of the solar
It's not
system.
actually moving backwards. It doesn't care about you. It has no effect on your life because astrology is not science.
Mercury
but if you
does not care what
if
you
you
think.
want to feel, if you want to feel things about it, you can. If you want to see it as a good sign, a bad sign, you can. That's up to you. But in reality, in science, Venus is in the constellation of Aries, which is a dim constellation, another springtime constellation that's coming up. It's Aries the Ram. And of course, you'll notice that these constellations that I'm talking about are also sounding familiar as zodiac constellations. These are the constellations that fall along that ecliptic, the path of our sun across the sky, aka the plane of our solar system. So the planets travel through them, meaningless to your everyday life. But Venus...
I'm going to take a drink now every time Liz gets kind of angry.
Venus, very bright in the sky, is the second brightest object in the nighttime sky after the moon. And it will be visible 45 minutes after sunset at the beginning of April. And then it'll move closer to Taurus, meaning closer to the western horizon, setting earlier and earlier by the end of the month. So Taurus is going to be getting lower and lower on the horizon, being a wintertime constellation. And Venus is going to kind of follow it out of scene, essentially, as we, follow it off stage.
Yeah, it's like, I'm out. See ya.
So to speak. Mars is hanging out with the twins, with Gemini.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it is going to be kind of like to the upper left of Venus, about 4 or 5 fists. So if you put your fists up at the sky, you find Venus, go about 4 or 5 to the upper left of it.
Meat hooks.
Yeah, and then you'll see this red bright object, and that will be good old God of War Mars hanging out there.
Old Aries.
Old Aries. Good
Mars.
old Aries. In the morning hours, if you're up in the wee early morning hours, before
Like we
sunrise, yes, like we are every weekday, Saturn will be near the horizon.
I love how you say weekday when it's every day at 5
Yeah,
o'clock.
but we
I'm
can
taking
go
the
back to
dogs
sleep
out.
on weekends. We can go back to sleep on the weekends.
That's true. Very true.
Saturn is near the horizon in mid-April in the constellation of Aquarius.
The water
age
bearer.
of Aquarius. The water. Oh, I heard water bear because we're talking about bears. So my mind's
It's
keying in on bears, but it's the
what?
bearer.
So
Yeah.
water tardigrade.
He's
It's
the
tardigrades.
water bearer. Yeah, he's a tardigrade.
It's just tardigrade in the sky.
It's the water bearer to the gods. I can't remember what was Aquarius's story. It was like God, I can't remember.
I don't know.
He got,
it's
like,
such
this
a dim
honor
constellation.
of
It doesn't need
becoming
a
the
story.
water bearer to the gods.
A water boy.
The water,
Basically, all the
water boy.
constellations that have like water
Uh-huh.
associated with them, dim. They're just dim. I don't. Cancer,
kind?
Aquarius, all
Dumb
those guys.
constellations, just
Pisces.
Yeah, all of them are dim.
dumb fish.
But I mean, clearly, it was bright enough for like in ancient times where people were like, "Yeah, it's fish."
Yeah,
Just
because you know what
two
they
fish on a
didn't. You
string.
know what they didn't have in ancient times? City
Light
lights.
pollution. Yes.
Well, that's because the aliens didn't give them the technology yet.
That's true. That's true.
It's common sense.
We need the aliens to come in here. Some celestial events that are coming up in April. The full moon on April 6th is not just any ordinary full moon, but at the same time, it is just an ordinary full moon.
That's no ordinary moon.
Oh, you gotta take a drink, right? Star Wars reference.
Definitely a Star Wars reference. That was well done. That was good. Good job.
That was good.
Welcome back to the show, Brandon. It is the pink moon, the pink full moon. And this, it's not pink, okay? Don't expect a pink moon, which would be, unless you're wearing, like,
This is a
pink
full moon for girls.
glasses.
It's for girls.
It's a girl moon.
I've never heard of a pink moon.
No? Okay, well, it's also called in the southern
Apparently, it's
hemisphere.
every April.
In the southern hemisphere, it is. It's called the harvest moon or the hunter's moon, which may be more familiar. But this is a Native American name for it. It is to represent the color of wild ground phlox, spelled Phlox.
What is that?
It's one of the earliest flowers to bloom in April, and I guess it's a pink color. And so the Native Americans, when the
And it's
full
a
moon
phlox?
in April happened, phlox. They call it the pink moon. But other cultures have different names for it. So in Chinese, it's the peony moon, after the flowers. In Celtic, it's the growing moon. The witches, for those Wiccans out there, it's the seed moon. And Cherokee see it as the flower moon.
Which is flock, right?
So it does seem to have.
Phlox.
It does seems to have.
Oh shit, that's pretty.
Are they pretty?
It is pretty.
Alright, well,
Yeah,
Google
it's a
phlox on your
purple
own.
flower.
I
No,
think,
there's some pink in it. Yeah.
I think
that's
those are
pretty.
all peony growing seed moons. I think those are all like the B team of the Oh, I just had the joke and it went through my fingers. I'm so tired.
Oh,
Give me a second.
no.
Give me like 5 seconds. You can even count down.
It seems like there's some
it's the
fertility
B squad of the
basis.
Sailor Moons.
It's the B squad of the
Took way too
Sailor
long to get there.
Moons.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow! And I don't think
Next
it was
time,
worth
man.
it. I don't know if it was worth
No,
it.
I'm
No.
not doing things today.
No.
There's no next time.
Another celestial event coming up is a hybrid solar eclipse.
I drive
Oh,
one
that's
of
cool.
those.
You saw one? Wait,
No,
what?
I drive one of those.
A hybrid, but not a solar eclipse. We in the where we're located here in the northern hemisphere of the Americas, we're not going to see it. It's going to be really visible, basically in the Indian and North Pacific Oceans.
Well, I mean, clearly somebody who watches this podcast is going to watch
Maybe,
it. But
but what's really, I've never heard of a hybrid solar eclipse before, and so what it does is it basically it changes from annular to total and vice versa along its path.
okay, so okay,
Which is
so
wild.
all right. First of all, real quick, yes, the moon is
is
used
this
to calculate
Is
Easter
this
time.
the magic Easter moon?
Yeah, so it's the first Sunday after the first full moon after the first day of spring
Jesus.
is when Easter occurs. So they didn't even get the date when.
Literally, Jesus.
All right, so but anyway,
Something
yeah.
RSVP.
So annular eclipse is where the moon's just a little too far away, and
Doesn't
so it looks
quite
like a
cover
ring
the
of
sun.
fire
Yeah.
around the moon. So it's a ring of fire eclipse. But this is just one of those things where this is one of those times, and like you said, it's very rare, where the moon starts out just a little too far away, and so you get that little ring. It'd be a very thin ring around it, and then it during the eclipse, it is at perfect distance where it covers the entire face of the sun, and then it goes, wait a minute, I'm going to pull a little bit further away.
And then
and
it goes back, which that seems like it would be really cool to see that transition. By the way, take a drink if anybody had this Ring of Fire song pop in their head as soon as you said Ring of Fire.
Has what? Oh, okay.
I did not.
If you had the Ring of Fire song pop in your head.
But now I have the Social D version in my head.
But then it becomes, all right, so was it the Johnny Cash version or the Social Distortion version of the
it was
song?
the Social Distortion because I was thinking Cosmic Coasters.
Oh, yeah. Either one is just a great version
Yes,
of the song.
yes.
It's just, they're phenomenal. I really love the Johnny Cash with the horns, but Social Distortion really. I mean, I'm a punk, so, you know.
Ring of Fire, so hot right now.
All right, speaking of coming in
I
hot.
fell into. Oh, sorry.
Speaking of coming in hot, we got a meteor shower in April. The April Lyrids, or Lyrids, they peak on the 23rd of April, around the 23rd, 24th of April. Not a wild meteor shower. It's pretty low key, about 18 meteors per hour is the
Wait, how many?
the hourly rate at 18.
18, yeah. that's
Per
not bad.
hour, so pretty chill. But if you are in a dark sky area, you know, they go for longer than just the peak. So the most you can see is on April 23rd. I had another meteor shower listed, the Pupids.
Pupids.
That's in the southern hemisphere, which also peaks the same time as the April Lyrids. So April Lyrids are in the northern hemisphere. The Pupids are in the southern hemisphere.
Do you have the comet that these originate from?
No, but the Lyrids are called that because these meteors look like they're coming from the direction of Lyra the harp, which is
Do you
again
remember what
the
that term
fish.
is called? I don't.
The radiant.
Oh, that was. Oh, I
The
thought it was
ra- the
something
ra-
weird.
the
Okay.
the radium, the radius,
radiant.
the radiant,
Yeah.
right? The
It
radiant.
radiates.
That's right. It radiates.
From that.
Are you looking at?
All right. So
Larry,
keep
what
talking.
comet
Keep talking.
it is? Well,
That's not keeping talking.
I'm putting you on the
I-
spot. What
I'm
comet?
trying to quickly look.
Basically, a meteor shower is when the Earth is when the Earth is passing through the tail of a comet, and that debris is getting burnt up in our atmosphere. And for more information on comets, check out our episode on dirty snowballs.
Dirty Snowballs, yeah. So the lyrics come from Comet C, 1861, G1.
Oh yes.
Thatcher.
C, 1831.
1861.
61
G1.
G1 Thatcher.
Thatcher.
Hot.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody have anything else to add to the night sky coming up in April?
It's beautiful. Go out and look at it.
Sky.
How would you add to the night sky, Brandon? I was going to call you April for some reason.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's see. So remember the movie Dragonheart? When Draco the dragon, of course, dies, his soul is placed into the sky and creates a star. I would love for more honorable creatures to be placed in the sky in that fashion. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, what was the question?
More honorable. What would you add to the night sky? What would you?
And I would add honorable
Honorable
creatures to the
creatures?
sky that have since passed.
Okay. I like that.
I mean, just really to be honest, what I would add to the sky would be just anything that's not fucking Greek, or that were created by white people. To be honest, to be truly honest, that it, but also isn't like because in the 80s there was this movement to change Orion to like, I don't know, Moses or something.
Was there really?
Yeah,
Really?
so
Never heard about that.
Yeah, there was a movement.
Moses' belt?
Thankfully, not like
No, it's like a fly, like a pupil, like a larvae.
PUPPID, I
pupus.
think. But anyway, so there was a movement or they wanted to change it to Noah. Basically, they wanted to change all of the constellations to Judeo-Christian
That doesn't apply
constellations.
to everybody.
And
It's not relatable.
I think that the world has enough bigotry as it is, and that we don't need to add this extra layer on to the constellations, and so just let's represent some other cultures, and that would allow some people to really kind of, and I realize this is hangover territory, but so you're in a planetarium show and you point out this constellation, but this let's say Orion, but instead of it being Orion, it's like something like, I don't know, from India. And then that kind of opens the eyes to people to different cultures. And if there's anything the world needs right now, is just the
Tolerance.
Is love.
just
love.
yeah.
Tolerance,
But I mean,
respect.
but you get that
Empathy.
love, you get that tolerance by, seeing other cultures. There's a reason why universities tend to be very progressive and liberal. It's because you all of a sudden throw these people in with all these other people and all these other cultures and life experiences, and it forces them to kind of open their eyes a little bit.
Any ideas who you'd make Orion?
Would I make Orion? Well,
The
Gandalf.
It's a Red Power Ranger.
I mean,
Gandalf.
shit. There's Orion is Gandalf. Yeah.
Oh, Puppets is the rear of a boat. I thought it was one of like the flies in the
Oh.
southern hemisphere for some reason. There's
Yeah.
like a fly constellation in the southern hemisphere. The rear. Oh, okay. It's the rear of the Argonaut.
really
of
and
the
truly,
Jason and the Argonauts.
Were they drunk off their ass
Yes.
when they said, "Hey,
assume
I'm
so.
down here in the southern hemisphere. That's a fly."
Well, I mean, they went with kind of like what they were,
Now,
It was more scientific based than
yes,
it was.
and I do actually like that. I do like
Greek-based.
you have microscopium and all of this stuff, but
there's a clock constellation.
horologium or something.
Yeah.
Oh, and Hogwarts Legacy, that was the last constellation I got.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, nice. Okay. You can look through telescopes and you make the constellations.
Brandon
Anyway.
is just looking at like, what
All
the
right.
hell's...
Yeah, so speaking of, non-white representation in space, now we have a telescope named after Edwin Hubble. Wait.
Oh no.
Yeah,
That was
Oh,
my
boy.
segue.
All right. Okay. Thank you for that. I forgot what was the first.
Yeah, that was my awkward segue.
Speaking of
Don't worry.
Hubble, astronomy news. Some recent astronomy news away from the night sky. Look, okay, we are American, all right? We can't pronounce shit, Federico.
Well,
Have you heard me
because we're
do
American, what we
my
say
Italian
is-
for you? It's atrocious, and I'm sure it's
I
very
absolutely
offensive.
love that. That is awesome.
Pupus? Pupus? Pupus?
Hey, you know what? America. Never mind.
All right. Hubble Space Telescope. I know that James Webb Space Telescope is, all the hubbub around now, but Hubble still
The
still
original
working.
hubbub was
The
Hubble.
original hubbub was Hubble.
Oh, I see what you did there.
It's still doing some good work, and it spotted a tiny amorphous galaxy in the local universe. So
What does that mean?
our local club of galaxies.
Like a changeling?
It basically means like it's not like our galaxy where it has defined spiral arms. This is more of kind of like a diffuse fuzzy galaxy, like no real defined shape
Galactic
to it.
snowball.
Yeah, pretty much like that. It's
Keep
called
saying that.
UGCA 307. So fancy. It's located 26 million light years from Earth here in the constellation of Corvus the Crow.
Ah, the old crow.
The old
Corvus the Crow.
the
That's
old
cool.
crow.
Oh,
It's like a small fuzzy patch of stars. And I guess there's new star formation in it. So it's actually by Hubble spotting it, it's kind of confirming that these amorphous galaxies, these diffuse dwarf galaxies, so smaller galaxies, can form new stars. And it's thought that this galaxy actually orbits the large, well-structured Sombrero galaxy, which is one of my favorite galaxies.
yeah. Beautiful galaxy.
We see it. Google Sombrero Galaxy. I can't wait for James Webb images of it, but oh my god, the Hubble images of it. We see it like edge on, so we're seeing the disk of the galaxy edge on, so it looks like a sombrero rim basically, and it's super cool. So that's kind of like what our galaxy would look like if we could see it edge on, in essence. And it's a part of this what Hubble capturing the image of it is actually part of a survey program called the Every Known Galaxy Survey. The Every Known Nearby Galaxy Survey.
What's that survey supposed to do?
It's supposed to survey every known nearby galaxy.
Thanks, Liz.
Oh,
we
see,
can
I thought
learn
it was going
about
to be
'em.
exoplanets. That's what I thought.
No, it's
It's
just
galaxies,
every
okay.
known nearby galaxy survey. Like, we're like, hey, who are our neighbors? Who's nearby? Let's check them out. Let's see what they're
Should be a
doing.
Neighbor.
Are they saying like why they think that these small galaxies are still able to form new stars?
Because I guess they're seeing new
Jesus.
stars in.
What?
Oh, I don't know if there's the why yet, or the
All right.
how.
Yeah, I mean,
yet.
because the first thing I would think about with these small galaxies would be that all right, so to make a star, you need to have that gas.
you need to have the gas and
that
dust.
gas and dust.
That gas and dust.
So I would have thought that it would have extinguished that like a long time ago. But
Apparently not.
I mean, cool.
Yeah. So
Got some
good,
new baby
good
star.
for you, UGCA 307.
So what does your mom mean by weird magnetic fields?
Maybe weird magnetic fields or cause of I don't know. Can you refine your question, Pod Mom? And while you do that, we'll go on because Ingenuity, the helicopter rover we have on Mars that was sent up
Helicopter
there
that
with the Perseverance rover, it nears its 50th flight on Mars.
Wow.
It just had its 48th flight. 48th flight. It was first deployed in April 3rd of 2021, and it was initially just supposed to like do a test of 30 days. And what seems to be a trend with these rovers and stuff we're sending up there, they're lasting a lot longer than we thought they would, or that we gave them the timelines to
That we
last.
budgeted for, yeah.
That we budgeted for. Okay, fair enough. Look, let it be a little bit more
Magical,
amazing.
yes.
So it completed its 48th flight, and it reached an altitude of 39 feet.
Oh,
on Mars.
nice.
So it's
Like
just
it's honestly just amazing that A, this helicopter works on Mars, and that B, it lasted through a Martian winter and is still going. It's honestly just incredible.
it's really cool. And if anybody's like, "What do you mean that it's amazing that it works?" Well, Mars has a much thinner atmosphere.
And it's very cold, so
Yeah,
I mean,
and the fact that we're
harder to
flying a
get
fucking
lift.
helicopter on another planet.
Basically, yeah, we're flying a helicopter drone on another planet.
what is the mission? Was it no?
To
All right.
Mars?
No, there's a maybe Titan
Ghost on Mars?
where they were gonna have like this huge glider or something that
That sounds like a Titan
Titan. That sounds like Titan.
yeah.
I think the largest moon of Saturn. For those of you out there, Pod Mom has refined her question. Magnetic field play a part in the organization (parentheses shape of the galaxy). She learned on the Science Channel. Yeah, right. Why are you laughing?
Because she didn't need to cite a source.
No, we need to encourage always cite your sources.
Well, okay, yeah, that's true. So and kids at home, that's a legit source. So yeah, I just.
But what causes like say so like magnetic fields and stuff allow the you had missionaries, were they missionaries were they the missionaries we're familiar with, Jack? That's beautiful.
I was so upset the other day that I did not get to meet the Jehovah's Witnesses that came to his house.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I wanted to
Sorry
talk
for
to
your
him.
loss.
I got the pamphlet though.
Let me introduce you to Satan.
Anyway, what? So like we have like our galaxy, spiral galaxy, and you have elliptical galaxies that are just big clusters of basically stars. But then these diffuse smaller galaxies, like why don't they? Do they not have the ability to form a? What?
So
What?
I'm just laughing at Liz with the gesticulation, and the ice has melted just enough to where it's clinging and clanging on the glass.
That's the
for
clicking
that
you hear.
What
That's
is it?
what it is,
AMR? AMR, folks?
ASMR.
ASMR. There you go.
Okay, that's good.
He hates that so much. Seventh Day. I don't think we've ever had any of those. Anyway.
I've never seen a Seventh-day Adventist.
Well, we'll just ignore my question for another episode because that will...
I've already forgot your question.
I know. Me too.
Something to do with magnetic
It's
fields
fine.
and the little amorphous galaxies.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Hey, big news.
Hey.
On Venus. Venus, sister planet to Earth because they're roughly the same size.
Ugly sister
However,
planet.
it is a hellscape
Hellscape.
of just insane thick atmosphere of carbon dioxide, sulfuric acid rain. It's
Crushing atmosphere.
You cook a pizza
Melting
in a large pizza
real fast.
in 9 seconds on Mars.
It's basically what the Earth
it's-
is approaching.
Yeah, pretty much. Like
We'll be here
we don't check
by
ourselves.
the end of the
It had
century.
a bit of a runaway greenhouse effect. But that's because it had a lot of volcanoes in the past, largely volcanically active, and it was thought that those volcanoes may not be active anymore. They weren't sure if there was any volcanic activity. They thought possibly, but they didn't have any evidence.
That's what it is.
They didn't have any evidence of volcanic activity until now. Reviews of images of Venus' surface from the Magellan spacecraft that were taken in 1991
Nice.
have basically shown evidence that Venus is still volcanically active. There have been some newer lava flows that are seen by comparing images from
It was like 1990, right?
It was like-
I think the first image that they
was it
compared
1990?
was February of that
Mm-hmm.
year. Now, okay, so there was an astronomer who went through the data
Yeah,
again
so
from
Robert-
Magellan.
If my
Herrick.
memory's correct, yes.
Robert Herrick, he's a planetary scientist at the University of Alaska in Fairbanks. He re-examined the 30-plus-year-old data, and he presented findings from that data at the 54th Lunar and Planetary Science Conferences in Texas. And 2 volcanoes, Mont Mons and Oza
Sure, say it with confidence.
Mons,
I mean, we got
It's the
Federico
siblings
already
of the Star
calling
Wars
out our
universe.
pronunciation.
Yeah.
So-
I think it's the pod racers.
He noticed that one volcanic vent near Mont Mons had expanded significantly between the data sets.
February and October.
Yeah, so the October data also had a bright feature that extended from the vent that looked like a possible lava flow. And so Herrick and Scott Hensley, who's a former Magellan radar team member, Magellan spacecraft uses radar. You can't send a spacecraft to the we've sent a spacecraft to the surface of Venus, captured like a couple shots, and then it melted and died. In a nutshell, and paraphrasing what actually happened, but. So we have to use radar from the spacecraft to get through those thick clouds, just like, like sonar, and those pings. And so they can get an image from what that
I'm so hoping you hit the microphone.
is bouncing off of. And so Scott Hensley, he was a former Magellan radar team member, and so they use computer modeling to compare the different geologic scenarios that could cause a square mild-sized vent to become misshapen and double in size, and the only answer they could come up with was an eruption.
Oh, okay.
The
I was thinking
only-
like Venus dwarfs.
Venus dwarfs. They dug too deep.
Oh, I gotta take a drink.
So-
I'm just glad you guys missed my Star Wars reference earlier. So
I did not. Well, I heard you say something about pod racers, but I mean,
Oh, that's right. I did catch the pod racing. But
I didn't know what you were talking about because I was trying to do a podcast, Brandon.
You know
All right.
what? Somebody has
Well-
to bring the comedic relief once in a while.
That's
and just get us completely off
It's
track.
supposed to be my job, but I'm hosting.
And then Brandon and I just take us off course. Like, I can tell Jack, what you need is just a picture of in your window of two guys kissing. That will get rid of the
Just Jesus and Moses
anybody
going at
showing up at your door to talk about Jesus.
So cool. So Venus,
Volcanically
it's had
active.
at least back in the 90s.
I'm
in the
pretty
90s.
sure that I'm pretty sure Venus
It's
didn't go. It's 1991. I'm done. I have erupted enough.
New
I-
year, new Venus.
I am taking a lifestyle of pacifism,
Yeah.
or however you say it.
Mom, you don't have to put Leia in the crate. It's fine.
What?
My mom texted me asking if she wanted us to put Leia in the crate, or her to put Leia in the crate. It's
No, I have them blocked off unless they've opened the gate.
fine. No, for when Katie comes.
They've
I
opened
have
the
them
gates.
blocked off in case they've opened
Oh,
the
they're
gate.
blocked up. They're blocked up. Okay. Anyway, so good for Venus. Yay.
Yeah.
Still hot.
Yeah, cool.
Another news involves
Another news.
another news involves an asteroid. Asteroid Ryugu. Hopefully, my Japanese pronunciation is better than my Latin and Italian
Federico, I'll let you
pronunciation.
know.
So we had we were able to get samples of Ryugu and analyze them, bring them back from this asteroid. So it's not like these samples were something that had landed on Earth and then we're studying them, which can cause, there's always a factor of, how much Earth contamination could be in them. These were collected directly from the asteroid, and the samples show that they contain uracil, which is a key component of RNA.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So basically that adds weight to the current theory that basic organic molecules may have arrived on Earth from outer space.
What
We're
is
all
it?
aliens. Pan-stars?
Panspermia.
Panspermia.
so.
Panspermia. So basically, RNA is used for making proteins and doing other odd jobs inside cells.
Mitochondrial DNA.
And so, just like DNA is made
RNA.
a long string of bases, but instead of thymine, which DNA has, it has uracil, which is what turned up in the sample. So this asteroid is a C-type or carbonaceous asteroid, which is one of the most common asteroids that are out there. It makes up 75% of the asteroids that we see. And in the early solar system, as there's a lot of debris still flying around, hitting the hell out of Earth. The Earth is just getting pounded by all this debris.
Just
being-
absolutely hitting the hell out of
Being
it.
pounded and seeded by these asteroids.
Is that the official astronomy term? Hitting the hell out of?
Hitting the hell out of, yep.
Is that the period
Yes.
of great bombardment, also known as
Hitting the hell out
hitting the
of.
hell out of?
The
Great
heavy
Galactic Pac-Man.
bombardment period, aka hitting the hell out of.
Hitting the hell out of.
Only here on Cosmos of Cosmos, everybody. So just more evidence that says, the components necessary for life, came from. It's not like the Earth was just like, I got life on me.
I'm gonna make me some life.
It came in from somewhere. It was seeded, and of course.
Wait. But then where did that somewhere come from? Like, why not start on Earth anyway? If it had to start somewhere, why not here?
Brandon, Jesus did it. It's all Jesus.
Yeah. So, cool. Now, for
Elegant transition.
the final.
Frontier.
I just heard my mom was laughing
know.
downstairs, but the mic picked that up. The next and last piece of news we have involves James Webb Space Telescope. So we started with the good old classic Hubble, and now we end the news with the new James Webb. There you go, wearing your
Christmas right here,
JWS
baby.
T-shirt.
Nice.
James Webb Space Telescope has spotted an exoplanet. And it
It's
spotted.
not the first exoplanet, but yeah.
It's I think it was the first exoplanet that James Webb has discovered. It discovered this exoplanet.
No, we've
As opposed to directly image a known planet.
no,
found one
we've
on
known
its
about
own?
this. We've known about this one.
We've
since-
known about it.
Yeah, because I can tell you that is in the Digistar system.
Oh, okay.
so we've
known about it. All right. Don't change the name of that. What are you doing?
No, but it is a. It's a pretty big discovery.
Yeah, it spots raging dust storms. It's a Jupiter. It's a big Jupiter planet. It's a big hot Jupiter planet. And basically, it's 40 light years away from Earth. It's a super Jupiter, so that means it's fairly similar to Jupiter being like a gas giant, but it's
bigger.
much bigger. It's 12 to 18 times the size.
Yeah,
of
and
Jupiter.
it's almost a brown dwarf.
Yeah, a brown dwarf being a failed star, essentially. Like it
Pretty
just
much,
didn't
yeah.
get quite big enough to become a star.
Yeah, and so
But
what?
now it gets its 15 minutes. A star it has become.
Yes. All right. Well, I'll take a drink to that one.
Okay.
That's our Andy Warhol reference.
A star is born.
What?
I said a star is born. So it's VHS 1256b.
My drink.
And it shows signs of water, methane, carbon monoxide, and carbon dioxide in its atmosphere. Now, not a good vacation spot. This super Jupiter, not great. It's harsh, very harsh atmospheres. It has clouds that are filled with these tiny silicate particles that range from specks.
Brandon, you were muted. I don't know if
To
you.
gray.
Oh
Brains.
no, my last couple of jokes fell flat.
I just saw the mouth moving.
So basically imagine this swirling hot atmosphere filled with like super hot shards
You want me to take this?
of rocks.
You want me to take
No, I'm going. All right, its upper atmosphere can be like 1,500 degrees
Yeah,
Fahrenheit, which sounds hot, but then at the same time it was like, or nearly the temperature of a candle flame. And in the article I read, and I was like, oh.
That's delightful.
But that doesn't. But it still burns
I
you.
know, but also.
Yeah, but some like it hot,
It's
so it's
not
okay.
as.
Oh, there you go.
Eh, but
All
it's not
right.
as
So
dramatic.
okay. So for this discovery,
Okay.
what they're noticing, I'll take it.
Thank you.
I asked you, and you're like, no, I'm running. All right. So what they noticed is that this exoplanet
Mm-hmm.
has these basically plumes of material, silicate, is dust and all that kind of gas and that type of stuff. But dust that the particles are about the size of like particulates you find in smoke. So
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty big. So basically,
You don't want to inhale it.
really hot plumes of this rise up, get to the top of the atmosphere and cool down, and then go back down into the planet where it heats up again, and then it rises to the surface again.
Like
with
a
James,
lava lamp.
lava lamps, also with the sun. The sun does this. There's a region of the sun that has these big Earth-side little bubbles of gas that rise and stuff. But anyway, so this is transferring heat from the center of the planet up out to the outer atmosphere, and with that comes changes in brightness, and James Webb Space Telescope was able to actually see that change in brightness. And so what is amazing about this observation is quite a few things. First of all, these observations were made in just a few hours, which tends to be the case for James Webb.
Usually, I mean, you need like...
Very quick observations and all of that. Also, this is the first time that an exoplanet has had its composition measured like this, where usually it's just like a one-off, like, okay, it's got a bunch of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. But now we're measuring in an observation of just a couple of hours, methane, water, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. We're getting all that in one observation. We're also measuring the brightness changes in these observations. And the reason why this planet, this exoplanet, orbits two stars, not one but two.
Yeah, it's a binary star system planet, which is wild.
And it is about 4 times the distance between the sun and Pluto. So it's really far out there, and it takes about 10,000 years for it to orbit the sun.
10,000 year.
Yeah, 10,000 years for it to go around those two stars once. And okay, so if you were that far out, why are you so hot? It's a new planet.
Yeah.
It's new. This planet,
it's young.
This planet is only about, they estimate
150 million
150
years
million
old.
years old.
Oh, that's baby star.
Our planet is 4.5 billion years old. This is just a baby.
Yeah,
It's
but
a
we've had some work done, so we
newborn.
look pretty good.
Yeah, and so it's
we got a lot of resurfacing happening. A lot of Botox.
And so eventually,
Geologic Botox.
as a lot of this internal heat from this brown dwarf really is what it is, but a lot of this internal heat dissipates through this action, the atmosphere is going to go from this murky, opaque atmosphere to a clear atmosphere.
Wait, it's gonna turn clear?
It's going to turn clear. As it cools down, it will actually clear out. But that's really far down the line.
What is that gonna look like?
Well, it's going to look like the Earth's atmosphere. I mean, but thicker. Jupiter's atmosphere. Okay, Jupiter's probably a better example. It's going to look like Jupiter's atmosphere.
Okay, but it's not clear.
No, but...
Are you thinking like it's going to look like a glass ball in space?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But all right, so when you look at Jupiter, what are you looking at? You're really and truly, like with the Great Red Spot, you're looking deep into the atmosphere. Which means that there's a lot of clear atmosphere on top of it. You're just looking into the depths. And so, if the Earth's atmosphere were bigger, eventually, if it was thicker, it would eventually become kind of opaque, and that you wouldn't be able to really see the surface. It would kind of turn blue. What was it like with Venus? I mean, it's kind of like that. And so our atmosphere just is not that thick.
Yeah.
But for this one, it will clear out. It's not like you're going to be able to go, oh, that's the fucking core of that planet.
See, that's what I was thinking when you just said clear. I was like, what's that? Oh, we're going to see the core?
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, no, you're going to, because the atmosphere is going to heat up as you go into it, and it's going to have different chemistry and things like that. And so
that's cool.
Our dogs were quiet.
Katie just got here.
Katie
My
got
facial
here.
reaction you just saw, that was because Katie just walked by and I was excited. So, wow, that's okay. That's cool. I'm glad you took that over. Cause...
I think this is like a really cool discovery. And when
and this is just
observation,
hours of observation,
instead
of like years of observations, which is what usually we reire to get these kind of data.
Astronomers that have been going through this data are like, we're just at the tip of the iceberg with this. And so they're actually, for VHS 1256b, there might be more information that comes out. Yeah. It's just that this is the first thing. And this is from just a couple of hours of observation.
Wow.
This is the beauty of James Webb. Oh, and by the way, this planet being so far out from the two stars that go around it, James Webb is able to see it, and the light that comes from that star, I mean from the exoplanet / brown dwarf, is not contaminated by the light from the stars, and so you're
so
seeing.
you don't have to block out the starlight.
Well, it doesn't even need to block it out.
Yeah,
it
that's
just,
what I said. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the light that it sees is purely from that.
Purely
from
planet light.
Yep.
Not starlight, planet light.
And the fact that it's so far away from its 2 stars, which, I mean, seriously, we're not even getting into the fact that it's orbiting 2 stars. This is
I don't.
Without taking a drink, this is kind of like a Star Wars
the
planet.
orbital mechanics of that.
Well, you can do it. You can do it. So
Well,
Barycenters.
yeah. So for you, all right. So you can orbit 1 star,
Yes.
or
like we do.
you do get to a point where it's just like, and then you can orbit both stars in kind of a figure 8. But that's really very. I mean, it's a very special case situation, and it won't last long. It's not a stable orbit.
Not a stable orbit.
But
This
then
is a
you can
stable orbit.
also you can also be far enough away in this particular case where the exoplanet goes. The gravity that I feel is basically, it feels like it's from 1 star, and so so it thinks it's just orbiting a single star.
One star, yeah, but it's 2. Okay,
But you have to be pretty far away, and so it's really for these type of situations to see that the planet orbits really close.
I mean, with
to
it
a
being
star.
so young, then did it form closer in and move out? I mean, this is.
Could.
I guess these are the questions that they need to look into and study more for. You know, I mean, is this the youngest planet of this type that has been?
Oh, that's a good question.
observed?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But 150 million years. I mean, it's just twice, really, 2.5 times the time between us and when the dinosaurs died out. I mean, it's really.
That's not a lot of time.
Wow. So let's see. The Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. So you're talking about. The Earth is something, I'm just going to say 30 times the age of this exoplanet. It's a very new exoplanet. It's very hot
Like
because from
great grandparents.
that comes from these. Oh, we're not even grandparents. There are many greats that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is
Wow.
the reason.
28 times. Mike had spot on 28 times.
That's why
28
he's
times.
fancy
Yeah.
physics man. He can do the math.
Thanks for checking me.
I just wanted to see.
No, but seriously, thanks. I've had a drink. It was a strong drink too. And you know, it's the reason why this is so hot is because it's so young, and they're just going to cool down.
I mean, you're always hotter when you're young.
And I mean, it's really cool. And James Webb has only been going for a year. Not even a year.
Not yet.
Not
Mike is
even a year.
unfazed by you, Liz.
I know.
And James Webb is going to rewrite our astronomy textbooks. Like Hubble rewrote our astronomy textbooks.
Pearson's going to be
James
so
Webb
happy
is
about
going
that.
to do it as well.
I like the idea of the James Webb there, the giant telescope, has a tiny pen and is like keeping diary notes and writing a book.
Today, I
discovered VHS 1256B.
I call him Frank.
All right, bring us home.
It'd be nice to me if I get to meet him.
Bring us home. You have a sister to see.
All right.
Before we do the
hangover, yes. Well, so we are heading into spring. Again, you can check out those springtime constellations. Lyra, Boötes, Arcturus in Boötes, the brightest star in the night sky, Sirius, setting in the west, and Canis Minor.
What were you going to say? Canis what?
I said minor, but I meant major. I can't. All right. I haven't even
Canis
finished.
Major.
I haven't even finished my drink yet. That's why it's Cosmos with Cosmos. So check us out on all the things at Drinking Cosmos on Twitter and Cosmos with Cosmos everywhere else. We're on your Spotify's, we're on your Google podcasts, on all the things. Listen to us and watch us, and you know.
And what's the topic for next time?
Oh my gosh,
We
we don't know.
No,
Are you going to be here in 2 weeks?
I don't know.
We're in flux because we're
wait.
in flux. Brandon's in flux. Everybody's in flux. So we're going off the seat
So,
of our pants.
in all
so
honesty,
stay
thanks for
tuned
bearing with us because 2 weeks ago we really needed to get our stuff out of Utah, and
2
so
weeks ago?
what? Yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
2
it
weeks
was
ago.
2 weeks ago. We were
So
officially
I really
homeless.
appreciate all of that. There might be another one where we have to either miss it or let Brandon actually run the whole thing because we might be
No,
moving.
he can't. He doesn't
but,
have the setup for the streaming and
So
stuff.
thank you, and
Thanks, Liz.
I don't know what the topic's going to be in 2 weeks. It really kind of depends on if Brandon's available because his availability has a lot to do with topics that we go down. Because we were thinking about doing manned or crewed space exploration today, but we weren't
Brandon's
entirely
jam,
sure
so
if Brandon was
to
going to
be
be awake.
Yeah, he needs to be cognizant for that. But either way, follow us and we'll let you know.
My luggage literally.
Yes. I was going to make a comment on that, but
Anyway.
There.
Nice. I love the space shuttle slippers right there. That's
Oh yes.
That's great. Otherwise, if you're with us here live, or if you're watching this on YouTube or listening on a podcast platform, you can check out the hangover of this show on YouTube, or stick around if you're with us now, because we'll be right back with that. But for now, thanks for joining us. And we'll see you next time, everybody.
Cheers, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All
right. No, we'll see you in 2 weeks because we'll be here. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yes, but for
Cheers.
now, we'll be right back.
Bye.
Oh, all right.
What?
Hey, everybody, take a drink. Apparently, I don't know.
Why are we taking it? And why is Brandon just half his
Oh
head?
my gosh, I didn't
Whoa.
fix this. I didn't fix this. You know what? I'll just go back to this.
Must be a sync card issue.
You know what? It's just a.
Come join us.
It's an OBS issue.
Get in here.
Right now, so I'm just gonna go to this.
Oh.
I'm gonna go to that.
Oh,
screen.
there we go.
Katie's here.
Katie's here.
Hi, podcast.
Yay.
Hi, Brandon.
Pod Sisters
Hi, Katie.
here.
He says hi.
So we just won't have the chat visible for this hangover because for some reason, the OBS has messed up. I had to
I
fix it
shall
earlier.
keep track of the chat.
I didn't. Well, I mean, we can see it. It just won't be on the live
Yeah,
stream.
why?
It won't be on
Well,
the
there
video.
goes my
Anyway.
usefulness.
We'll
Won't be on
work
the
it.
video. Jack says hi, Katie.
Jack says hi. I guess Adam needs to come getting this now. He's made it.
Adam.
Complete it.
The mysterious Adam will be seen for the first time. I don't need the iPad anymore because we're in hangover territory. This is anybody new to the hangover here with Cosmos Cosmos. Here's where we just shoot the shit, so to
All
speak.
right, so this is going to last 2 minutes as we have family.
All right, so when you guys go to India, enjoy the chutney, but do not expect to have any activity the next day because of the chutney.
Said chutney. Uh-oh.
So I
Well,
went out of the course with Satish and Martin, and I have all the food I can because it's all delicious and amazing. And whatever they get, I get. Like, what do you get, Satish? I will have that. So he goes,
Uh-oh.
thank you. So I eat all these delicious things. I don't know what they were because I can't pronounce them, but they were great and tasty. But then I noticed, after a while of this, my stomach just absolutely died. Like, nothing was staying in there for any duration of time.
oh no.
Is that like
and-
too much information? I
mean,
mean,
No.
Look,
here's-
caveat:
here's-
Brandon has a sensitive stomach anyway.
And then here's the too much information part. They don't really do toilet paper in most places over there. So it's like,
Oh,
what do I do with this hose? Why is there nothing to dry with? So I ended up just having to steal napkins. Anyway,
wow, that went a direction. Anyway,
so
Wow.
anyway, so that day passes, and thank God I get through it. And on the day after that, I feel a little better. And I kind of explained to Tisha Martin, my stomach is not quite feeling good, so I'm gonna have something easy for lunch. They go, oh, that was the chutney we gave you. Yes, it's a natural diuretic that cleans you out. The fuck would you give to me
You
that for?
have to
and not
lead
tell me?
with that. You have
You
to
didn't
lead.
even tell me. You just said eat this. I said okay.
So they
and
gave
then
you
it
a
cleans
natural
you out.
and
laxative.
then they
A natural
laugh
fucking
their
diuretic.
asses off.
They're
Oh
like,
my
this
God.
white boy is gonna
Who
have
gave
the
that
night
to
of
you?
his life.
I think that was Satish.
Man,
I mean, it was delicious.
That is awesome.
It was real good.
It
I
was
mean,
awesome.
Indian food in America. Is
They
good,
didn't
so
do
I
that
can
to me.
Imagine Indian
They
food
did
in
not
India
do that to
being
me when I was
just-
in India.
Well, we went
They
to
took
little.
care of me.
I can't say we went to Hole in Wall place because but it was a little tiny little place when you pass the monkeys and the hordes of dogs to get through and things like that. And then there's this delicious food.
Yeah, we
But
went to.
avoid the
Chutney, chutney,
Chutney
egg,
egg
egg slacks.
Yeah, when
Chutlax.
I was in India, we went to. So they picked me up. They put me in the hotel that they thought like a Western person would want to be in, and it was a great hotel.
hotel.
I did have to pass through a metal detector, which I was not ready
Oh,
for.
yep.
But
Every place in India passed
yeah.
through that metal detector.
Interesting.
and so and China actually. But anyway, they picked they took me to some hole in the wall restaurant, and it was so damn good. It really was good. But no chutney. No
I have,
chutney for
I have a
me.
question. Since you both have been to India on assignment, have you been able to like preview or see kind of like how they do like a night sky show or what they talk about or
No,
kind of what
not-
they
not
focus
for
on
me.
or do
Not
they
for
do
me.
live shows or do they focus on like playback shows, which would be like movies for those that are not. in
Well, I know the
Planetarium?
one I was just at had a Star Ball, so they must do live shows.
Yeah. I'm not really. I was in Hyderabad and kind of in the middle of India, and what they did was
shit.
my whole job was to
You okay, Brandon?
train them.
You just reminded me about Hyperbad. I had things to do this week about it.
Oh.
My whole job was to train them on how to actually use the system, and so and there was this whole show production component to it. So they had me go in for the regional governor to come in, and it almost was comical in a way was because all right, so I just wanted to sit in the back, but I was clearly the only white dude there. I stood out.
We can't
you-
hide.
I stood out, and they told me, they were like, okay, so the regional anthem is going to play, and you stand up for that. And I'm like, well, of course, I'll do that. And so the regional governor comes in, anthem plays, and we all stand up and that type of thing. And we all sit down, and she gives this speech. I don't know what was in the speech because it was in Hindi, but but apparently everybody was into it. But
do they have a choice?
There were like 2 additional regional anthems, and I don't think the regional governors knew that those anthems were going to happen. And so she would sit down, the music would play like at the Grammys, and she would immediately, and everybody else would have to jump up and stand up. And none of them knew that this was coming. And then she would sit down and some other words would be said.
Why were they
and then
playing
another regional anthem would be played.
This
and
sounds
everybody
a lot like-
just jumps up.
Yep.
And the regional governor's like looking around, going, basically with a what the fuck look on her face. Like, why are we doing this?
Why
It
were
really
they-
should just be once.
Why were they doing that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea. But when they stood up, I stood up. It was a really, I gotta say, it was like a really cool experience. They had all of these. I don't know what the flowers are, but it's like these yellowish maroon kind of flowers, and they had them all around the star projector. There was a real like religious component to this, and it was almost like a blessing of the system kind of thing.
Oh wow!
But so they had all of that.
No water on the projectors though, right? Keep the
Well,
water.
I
That's
mean,
that's very
Christian,
Catholic. That's very.
But yeah, and so I mean, it really was an interesting experience to see how, like, at least in Hyderabad, that they handle this kind of stuff, and they had a lot of dignitaries that were there, and so it was very important. It was a very important thing, and the guys that ran the planetarium there is the Birla Planetarium in Hyderabad. It was clearly just a very massive thing, and it was very important. And I was just hoping that just nothing blew up.
It's always interesting to me just how, when we had gone to, when we were both working at the place that shall not be named, and we went to different planetariums to kind of check them out and see what they did and check out their domes and stuff. And just like, even in the U.S., how every planetarium kind of does something different or has a different night sky show, and how they do it, like where, some places might be very scripted in their night sky show. We were very free, very no script, and kind of just fly by the seat of our whatever we feel like talking about or whatever the audience feels like talking about, and kind of go from there. So then it makes me wonder how, internationally different planetariums in different countries, how they're explaining the night sky, how they're talking about what is visible. Do they have the same arc to arc tour, spike to spica kind of little things that they do if they're in the northern hemisphere? How do they talk about the southern hemisphere and not having a pole, and how to find using celestial navigation, or
but
if they use the Greek constellations because those are the AAU constellations to go by, or if they do primarily go, hey, in Greek there are these, but and then they highlight more of their own cultural constellations or something. I'm interested about that, and see how different places and countries
so
do
Hyderabad
their,
actually
do
did
their
run
thing.
while the governor was in there. They did run a short show, and it obviously was pre-recorded, and it was all in Hindi, so I'm not sure what was said. But at the end of that, and after meeting the governor, I was ushered out. And so I don't...
You were ushered out?
Yeah, it was like, okay,
The white guy's got to go.
Well,
Get him out of here.
It wasn't because, hey, it's an American. It was pretty much a lot of people were ushered out. And so I really had to get back to the tea lady, who was more important before that visit.
Jack says incense burner to add a nice patina of ash and oil on all the optics.
Yeah. And
my dad likes a good patina.
It seemed like it was short enough where it would be that there would be a live component to it. I can't say for sure. But I do think taking off where I work's hat, I think that the global planetarium community needs more non-Greek shit. And so we need to see. I mean, India has such a rich astronomy culture. Or history, I should say, and that needs to be reflected.
I mean, most stars are, this isn't Indian, obviously, but most stars are Arabic names, you know.
Yeah, and so, I understand the attempt by the astronomy community to be inclusive. I understand it, okay, we're gonna do Greek constellations, Roman planets, Arabic star names, but
Well, I mean, to be fair though, it was like, I won't say to be fair because I'm sure other cultures had it written down as well. But the Greek constellations, the Greeks had the record that was then pulled during the scientific or
but China has that as well. In fact, China's predates
during
the
the
Greeks.
Enlightenment. But they didn't necessarily when it was when the Enlightenment was happening, when they were getting all back into Greek and Roman stuff in Europe.
Yeah.
They didn't necessarily, I don't think, have access to, not that they would care anyway, but they didn't have access to those written records of, Chinese or other cultures.
But, to be honest, there is...
Now we do, and now things could be changed, just like, it was easy to change Pluto because we got more data, so we got more access to records of historical cultures.
And I say this with the hope that you don't take this as, this is coming from a woke
white
progressive
man.
Where,
okay.
Where, it still is namings of constellations and stuff. Thank you for at least including the Arabic, but it's still a very racist kind of thing where Europe, well, hey, we're the only ones who figured this shit out. We had Newton. Newton did the whole gravity thing and formulated it. But, India still has a very rich culture. The
algebra.
Chinese have a really rich culture.
The zero. Where'd the zero come from? Oh, the Mayans.
Yeah. People in Australia, the Aborigines, they have a real rich astronomy, history. And so I just think it needs to be reflected. I don't know.
Jack makes a good point in chat, since it's not visible on the live stream and the recording. He says the problem for U.S. planetariums in schools, constellations are a one-line standard in elementary grade 5, so it's hard to validate additional time for it. Yeah, and that is definitely a problem where, because there are I don't know if everybody's still on Common Core these days or if they've moved to the NGSS, the science standards.
I don't know.
Like the national science standards, that it's like teachers are kind of forced to stick to, they have limited school year time to get through, and it was like that was in the history classroom, which is where I studied for my degree to be a history teacher. You have certain topics to cover, often ignorant of real topics that should be covered, such as in history and slavery and all of that kind of thing. But you have these you have to hit this and then you got to move on because you have limited time and you have all this stuff to cover, whereas you don't have time to go, okay, here's how different cultures view constellations. Here's all this stuff. You can't spend the time on it. And that's in schools. Whereas I think that planetariums that are in science centers or just standalone planetariums that aren't in schools, it would be nice if in the U.S., if there could be a broader approach to the night sky or astronomy and kind of the history and different cultures and how which I always, in my Arizona skies, I always tried to talk about, well, here's how it's seen and
cultures see different
here's
things.
and different cultures see different things. So in here, and I love telling the Native American story about the Onion Sisters versus, the Greek story of the Pleiades.
And there is overlap. There's
lots of overlap, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's important to highlight that, hey, you can see whatever you want in this shit. The most important part of, I think, astronomy and space for just the general public, for just the layman's out there. And I also hate the word layman because it sounds like for the dumb people out there, but it's just to look up, to have that interest that, it's a wider universe above you,
right.
And that every single human being is essentially looking at the same sky. Well, okay, Southern Hemisphere sees a different sky, yeah, blah. But, we're all looking at the same universe outside of ourselves.
Yeah, and I think there's two things that unite everybody, is that we all eat. And so I think food is a great way to see, different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon and I going to India, experiencing that amazing food, but apparently stay away from chutney.
That good chutney.
Unless you need to be cleared out.
But also don't do it before you get on a plane.
No.
But also, we've talked about this, going to Poland and having just the pierogies. And Poland is not really, at the end of the day, not a big country.
No, but it gets walked all over.
Having the tour, it does. But having the tour of Poland through pierogies,
joke for everybody out there.
Really,
1 and 2.
really allowed me to just have this amazing conversation with Thomas and his partner.
Tomas.
What?
Tomas?
Actually, yeah, Tomas.
It's for you, Federico. Pronunciation.
Yeah, and so, but also just experiencing the food in India and in China, and, when we do the shot, you will see us actually hit the table with the shot glass. That actually comes from China, and it was something that I experienced, and I think that the night sky, the universe, is another thing that we all experience, and
Every. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and it should be something that allows us to, learn about other cultures.
Come together
right now.
And copyright end.
Yeah.
Every time I go to another, so I was just in India, I did this. I did it in Colombia as well. When I'm out with people, we'll take shots and we'll cheers, and I always hit the table, and they all ask me why, and then I would go on to explain why, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
You know what? I forgot to promote the shot in the main episode. So check out the shot of Cosmos the Cosmos, which we need to record more episodes because we might be running out.
So in case you're wondering, I was in China one time, and they wanted to take me out to this restaurant, and everything is communal in China. And so you have the big lazy Susan that rotates around, and we all share food and stuff like that. And so their plan was to get me drunk. They wanted two things from this night out on the town in China. They wanted to know about my tattoos, because in China it's still seen as kind of a gang thing.
Yeah.
It's a very taboo thing.
I feel like it's probably same in Japan because of the Yakuza.
Yeah. So they wanted to know about all the tattoos and what they meant and things like that. And so they were very surprised. They just aren't used to seeing tattoos on a normal person. But they also wanted to get me drunk. And I was like, I have a podcast where we drink and talk about astronomy. And the shots were really these thimble-sized things.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, there's no way you're going to get me drunk.
You're like, dude, I'm an American. Do you have the portion sizes we do?
Yeah. So I actually had the bottle from one of the bottles that we just downed.
It's really cute. It looks
It
like a little
is really
honey
cute.
pot.
It looks like like a
Like a little round honey. Oh, do you have
No, he doesn't
have
it.
the same one.
He shouldn't
but...
have it. He hasn't been in China.
that's your
Yeah, so it looks like what's that bear? Winnie the Pooh bear, honey
not
pot.
the murderous one.
Yeah, but it has this Chinese symbol on it. And
It's like a little honey pot with handles.
right, and so what we would do is it's a big table, and what they do is they will give. What you do is you give like an accolade to somebody.
Oh.
You go, okay, hey, you're a great person, blah, 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 whatever. And typically you just dink it, right?
Okay.
And so that was really easy with the people that were right next to me. But if somebody was across the table,
Then you hit
what
the
you
table
do
because you can't
is
reach them.
you go like
Instead
this.
of trying to be like,
Cheers. Oh, you just cheers, and then you dink the table, and it allows us to dink.
dink.
Yeah. What is it?
I don't know.
But
Clink, dink,
it allows
yeah?
us to dink, even though we're not next to each other. And so for us, when we do the shot, what we do is we dink each other because we're right here next to each other.
And then we dink for
But-
everybody out there.
But we dink everybody else that's out there, and,
We
and
dink
so
you.
that's why
we dink you.
that's
Cosmos
why if
for
you see the
Cosmos
shot-
watchers. We dink you.
we dink you. So that's why if you see the shot, you're gonna see us hit the table with our shot glasses.
Half the time I forget.
In theory, before we actually take the shot, and
The only one that's not an international traveler often forgets to dink.
and it comes from China, and I just thought it was such just on a larger scale of things. I thought it was just such the coolest concept.
It's interesting the drinking culture in China and Japan, because Japan I think has a similar not to start another war, but a similar culture of the kanpai, and they do that where it's like they all go out to a dinner and
Right.
doing the drinking and
Yeah, and but it's also
Sounded
like
ridiculous.
here in America, what we'll do is we'll go fucking cheers, whatever.
Cheers.
But in at least in China, because this is where I only experienced this, it before you get to the cheers, it was I need to say something nice about you.
Well, it depends how many shots I've had, then I'll do that.
What?
that's
So
so
it depends how many
American
shots
of
I've
you,
had.
Brandon.
And it forces you to say something
It'd
nice.
be nice if we all
And
said something nice
let
about
me
other
tell
people
you.
all the time,
As the American at the table, these were coming in all fucking different directions.
They were just trying to get you drunk, is what
They
they
were trying to get me drunk.
They wanted to see what your limit was, what
They-
your tolerance
they
was.
did want
and
to
if
see
they
that.
could outdrink the white man,
Yeah,
that's
didn't.
what they wanted to
They
see.
didn't.
that hasn't happened yet.
I don't know what that says about me, but they didn't. But it was really good. It was a Chinese kind of whiskey or wine. It wasn't wine, but
You had gotten that Japanese whiskey, or did you get Japanese whiskey, Brandon?
I got Japanese whiskey from Singapore.
Yeah.
it was
It
really good.
It was good.
It was really good, and it's actually one where you can actually just take it as a straight shot. You don't need any kind of mixer or anything to
Chaser.
kind of knock it down.
Yeah.
But I really like that because here in the States, they're basically what?
Fuck you, Tony. Cheers. You're an ass.
So here in the States, what is it? We don't like people from the Middle East. We don't like people from China.
We don't like anybody.
We don't
like each other.
We don't like each other.
we don't like people from Russia.
We very rarely like our family.
But-
We love our family, but other, families don't like their
Right.
families. Everybody's like, oh, Thanksgiving. And I'm like, Thanksgiving's fine in my family. But there's also only we're a small, it's my parents and my sister, and then us and Adam. That's our family.
But I have to say that back when I was traveling, and I really hope to never travel again.
Jack says we say
Colonial.
colonial, and then there is the clink, and we laugh evilly.
It really was cool seeing them trying to understand me, me loving being in their presence and, hearing their stories. Because I really did, it was really interesting because when I was in Beijing, the last time for training, the guy that I was really training, David, quote unquote, his real name is Ramsey, but they do try to make
Is his
American
real name
names.
Ramsey?
It was Ramsey, yeah,
Ramsey?
R-A-N-Z-I.
Oh, R-A-N-Z-Y. Okay, I thought you said Ramsey.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Ramsey,
Like
R-A-N-Z-I.
like Ramsey's.
He's telling me how. Okay, so we're looking to buy a house, right?
Yeah.
So when we buy a house, we own the house. We own we own the land that the house sits on.
Yes.
And he was telling me how he Colonel.
Colonel. I'm sorry. I thought it was it was spelled
Colonel Clink
Colonel,
from Hollywood, yeah.
but then I wasn't sure if you meant Colonial
I guess
Jack.
Liz
So
knows nothing.
that was my. I don't know Hogan's Heroes.
Oh, it was a fun show.
Sorry,
I've only seen a few episodes. So.
am an elder millennial.
But
I thought it was
can
spelled.
still see
It was
it.
spelled
Yeah,
Colonel.
that's not an excuse not to see a couple of episodes of Hogan's Heroes now and then.
I don't. You know what? Look,
Gilligan's Island.
Hogan's Heroes
MASH.
wasn't. If Hogan's
MASH is the greatest.
Hogan's Heroes and MASH were not on Nick and Night, so I'm a Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie.
Those are good.
I Love Lucy. Oh, I love Lucy so fucking much. Fan. All right.
So we were gonna watch MASH. Brandon, were you with us? We
downloaded
watched
all
the
the
first
I watched
first
a couple
episodes of MASH.
And then we
With you.
watched
forgot
it.
how terribly racist first episode.
Yeah. And we're like, whoa! But it's
Right.
such
Does
a
it?
good
What
show.
are you doing, Hawkeye?
Were we watching something recently that we're like, this did not age well?
Yes. Oh, it was
History of the World, because History of the World Part 2 was on
because
Hulu,
he's faggot.
so we watched the original History of the World, and
I can say it. You can't. Faggot.
yeah, I was like, and then I elbowed Mike, and I was like, this is not aging
Nope.
well, and he was like,
Nope.
nope, and I was like, but it's, there are funny parts to it, but I was like, Mel Brooks.
Yeah, but the whole was it Dom DeLuise?
Yeah, there
and
were
the-
a lot of
Yeah.
different F-bombs that were dropped that I was like, oh boy.
That's an interesting way of saying it. F-bombs.
Alternate F-bombs.
Yeah, alternate
F-bombs.
But I do think, and I've heard people try to take this back, where faggot needs to be taken back, and I know that makes some of you guys cringe.
It's like a
little
horrible
bit,
sounding
but
word, though. Like, it's not a great sounding word. It's because it sounds
No.
like maggot.
I
No.
think we should make it mean its original meaning, which is just a bundle of sticks.
no, but
Is
but
that what it- is
Mike's
the-
like, no.
it's like the N-word. You have to take that power
There
back.
is no alternate meaning
You
to that.
have to take the
Which
power
is why
back.
there's only a group of people that can use it.
Everybody
Everybody else does not get to use it, no matter who
No.
sings it
If
in their
you-
songs.
if
You
you
censor
are-
yourself when you're singing those lyrics back.
If you are LGBTQ,
It's
can
French for
say
a
it.
small bundle of sticks. Okay, like a cigarette in England is called a,
Right, but I think if you're LGBTQ, you can say it, and
Yeah.
you can take that word back,
Yeah.
and you can remove the power from the assholes.
Yeah.
I think that's what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is like the word is so steeped with
By the way, in The Hangover, this is when we get a little bit more political and less spacey.
yeah. So I don't know if certain people are listening, but it's just it needs to be taken back.
Police Academy 1 is not aged well. I would say there's a lot of stuff in American culture that is not aged well, and you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt just because it's
Well, yeah, but
it's impossible for things not to age well, I would say. So, there's going to be stuff from now that isn't going to age well that we don't know yet that doesn't age well. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because they didn't know in History of the World Part 1 that wasn't going to age well.
Yeah, I just think that we need to take this shit
Yeah,
back.
that's what we meant. Mom.
We need to take this shit back. And I we talked about this yesterday. I just think progressives need to stand up. We need to take the world back. And
Well, I think it's not like taking...
marginalized communities need to go, these words that you have used to hurt me, that you have used in the connection of lynching and for strapping people to fences in Wyoming and beating the fucking shit out of them.
Oh, is that the Matthew Shepard?
Yeah. Okay. We're going to take these words back and we're going to make you cringe. We're going to make you just...
And jealous that you can't use it now.
Yes. And we can use them. You can't use them. And if you use it, you're a fucking asshole. And, I can hit you in the face. I wouldn't. But
anyone in the face.
It just removes that power where it's like, you can call me that. It doesn't hurt me.
I think at the end of the
day... It does not hurt me.
At the end of the day, we all just need to go outside because it's the end of the day.
Are you going to bring it back? You bringing it back?
Yeah. It's getting darker. We look up at the night sky and we see all these stars. These stars look like they're nearby. We could reach out and touch them. They're light years apart. We're in a vast expanse of universe and everything is connected. Asteroids from 4 billion years ago and comets from 4.5 billion years ago, seeded the earth with water and the chemical components for life on earth. We are all made of flesh and bone and blood and iron and calcium. We all want to be happy and to be safe and to be healthy and to live our lives. And at the end of the day, we're all the same.
We're all the same.
We're all the same. And any differences are superficial bullshit that we created
they truly are superficial.
in our own heads because of our over-evolved egos that we have no right of having. And so I think it's not about necessarily progressives standing up and taking over. I think it's just us as a species just learning empathy, like 2-year-olds learning empathy and
I'm not
sharing.
saying take over.
No, that's not what I meant. But,
I'm saying take back.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, that we have, and this is the cliche speech that I'm going to give. We have... this one planet that's our home. We all live on it. We can all share it equitably, and be better and in peace, love, and harmony, for lack of a better hippie phrase.
But that's the hard path to take, and to
we've made it hard for ourselves.
To borrow from Christians, it's hard to turn the other cheek. It is much easier to strike back. And so it's hard to, look at a different culture.
Look, we all know that what we need is replicators. That's all we need. We need the technology for replicators to make money irrelevant, and then we can all come together as one.
And
also Vulcans. Also, I was getting to it. We also need the Vulcans to show up once we have warp drive capability.
There's no yawning. This is a big conversation, Brandon.
I'm sorry. I've been gone
He's
20 minutes.
so jet lagged. Are you going to work tomorrow?
I think so. Just so I get those 8 hours.
No.
And I'll be done for the week, basically.
Okay.
Because it's Sunday. Okay, so my Saturday yesterday was 35 hours of one day.
Why are you going to work tomorrow?
It was Saturday, 35 hours straight for me. Literally.
Yeah, because
so really you only need 5 hours tomorrow, and then you have your 40-hour week.
Oh my god. Anyway.
No, I think I just...
You gotta bring it back with my bring it back.
Yeah, I think really and truly, if we just had more people look up into the night sky and have the understanding.
Or, let's make a commercial space travel affordable for all.
Yeah.
And everybody can get the outside perspective of the Earth like astronauts have gotten. And then you can see, we added those borders on maps. They're not actually there.
They're
like,
man-made.
oh,
And that's what
this
the
is a precious
astronauts say.
jewel in the
So-
solar system because the entire
right.
universe
So-
is very inhospitable.
I'd
Right,
love
so
to say
when
that works
astronauts-
for everyone, but then Bezos went to space and fucking nothing changed there.
Yeah, but when astronauts come down, generally, they're like,
Yeah, that's what
we don't see any borders.
We all need that
But-
outside perspective of our pale blue dot.
Right, and so, you have what is that like? It's so just a cliche thing in a movie where you have a couple
Is it a Hallmark movie?
It probably happens a lot more in Hallmark movies. You have a couple separated by a continent. Yes, and you have, and it's always a full moon, and you have
werewolves.
yeah,
Is it a
and
werewolf
so you
vampire?
you have the female lead look up
yeah.
at the moon, and they see the moon, and they're looking at the moon, they're enjoying the moon, and then the male lead, because there are no same-sex couples in Hollywood.
In Hallmark movies, at least.
That are, it's like they're in like Japan, and they look
They're on
up
an army base.
and they see the same full moon, which is not going to fucking happen.
I'll lasso
but
the
anyway.
moon for you, Mary. I'll lasso the moon for you.
Yeah, but we'll say they're in California, and so they're connected by looking at the moon at the same time. It's really quite cliche, but it's really effective in a lot of these movies, even though it is a cliche thing.
I actually can't think of any movie that did that. I know it happens. I just can't think of any off the top of my head that do that.
Well, I don't have
the top of my head.
a specific
a
movie,
trope.
but I've seen
Yeah.
the scenes.
Yeah, it's definitely a trope. We're looking at the same sky.
It's a trope, yeah. And so I think, but this is really something that really could actually, I mean, this really and truly could happen. Like, you can have somebody in North America, in like New York, look at the full moon, but then somebody down in Argentina and see the same full moon. Different cultures, separated by tens of thousands of miles. Same moon.
Or
We're
is
all
it?
connected. We're all connected with the elements that are in our body. And we're all connected by the universes that we see and the laws of physics that we have to live by.
And the universe is trying to kill every one of us equally.
Yes.
I was going to go into a galactic connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
when the asteroid hit the Earth, it killed the dinosaurs.
Oh, okay.
Or
I
led
was.
It killed the dinosaurs equally.
It did kill the dinosaurs equally, which allowed mammals to
Well, I mean,
evolve
alligators
into
still
what we
around,
are
so
today.
I don't know about equally.
Although we did see
And
a
birds.
metal sculpture
Birds,
of a
alligators.
caveman shooting a
That's the
spear
first
at a
time we saw
raptor
it.
on our way home
And I
from
see it every
Roseburg
time we
yesterday,
pass by there.
which I've just noticed.
But the thing is like you said, like the difference between us is superficial, and it really is, the color of our skin and
The money in our wallets,
the
bank
gods
accounts,
we believe in or don't believe in, and
the flags we choose to wave,
yeah, and so
the patterns of cloth we've sewn different colors into.
and it's just I think that the world would be in a much better place if we embraced those quote unquote differences, those cultural differences.
Well, Hallmark
And-
is apparently leading the way though, because they're doing it better about LGBT
Yes.
couples according to
But
Jack.
okay, let's be honest. You still have fucking stupid people. Like who was that Full House?
Tim Allen.
No, Tim Allen.
Oh, Candace Cameron. No.
Yeah,
Full House.
Cameron.
Full House. I'm sorry. I was thinking
Tool Time?
Tool Time. Home Improvement.
Home
I don't know why I went to Home
But
Improvement.
the show was Tool Time within Home Improvement.
I don't know why I went to, it was
no.
Candace Cameron.
She was like, I'm leaving Hallmark because they don't believe in this gay stuff. And
Because they don't or do?
They don't.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the opposite of her brother, Kirk Cameron.
No, she's leaving it
Because
because
they-
Hallmark is going
Oh, you
towards
said
they're doing
because
better.
they don't believe.
Right. And so they want a more Christian network. And so she's moving to some other network.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Opposite of her brother, Kirk Cameron, who's very anti-gay.
No, she's anti-gay.
Okay, then if
Am
they're...
I not explaining this
no,
right?
you're
No,
not.
I'm
Okay.
confused too.
Okay.
If Hallmark-
hold on. Oh, then stop. Hallmark is doing better
Yes.
with LGBTQ
Okay,
couples.
you said because Hallmark does not believe in LGBTQ.
Oh, Well,
That's
okay.
what you said.
Okay, all right, then stop.
Because they
Then
do
stop.
believe in LGBTQ.
Yes, quit Hallmark
Okay.
and went to an ultra-conservative show.
Okay,
So
yes.
that's what
because
it is.
Hallmark does support LGBTQ.
Yes.
She's leaving.
She doesn't.
Yes, okay. So
No,
she's...
I said Christian. Anyway, whatever. I'm 2 drinks in. Anyway, so
we know what you're getting at.
yeah, so
Yeah.
she's leaving.
Katie just walked by very like, what are you doing?
There were 2 hockey players that refused to wear the
I'm surprised by that by
the
Candace
rainbow-
Cameron because her brother's supposed to be the
fuck the Camerons. But
Camerons.
anyway,
not all
the
Camerons, just those ones.
there were these 2 brothers. I don't know, played for Tampa Bay or something, a hockey team.
I don't know.
I don't know. The Bears? I don't know what they were. It would be great if they were the Bears, the Lightning. It would be awesome if they were Tampa Bay
Look,
Bears.
I know 2 hockey teams. Well, no, I know 3. I know
Sharks?
the Penguins because I had an old boss that was a Penguin fan.
yeah.
The Sharks because the San Jose represent, and the Coyotes in Phoenix
Phoenix?
because I've been to many Coyotes games.
All right, so you had the Blues.
I say many,
Is
and
there
it's
no
like probably
Oilers,
3.
or was that a football team?
Oilers sounds like a hockey team.
Oilers were a football team.
Oh,
they were a
just
football
kidding.
team?
Just kidding.
Edmonton, yeah.
Oh, Edmonton.
I think it was Edmonton Oilers at one point as well.
Is that football?
No, that was hockey, but they changed their name. They left and they came back. Anyways, whole
But
story.
anyway,
Right.
this Tampa
I was
Bay
trying to close out
2
the
brothers.
episode, but
There are
we're
these 2
going.
brothers that refused to wear the and it was just for when they go out and it's like in basketball where you have the teams come out and they just like shoot before the game and like get all warmed up. And so you had these hockey players that would, I don't know,
Shoot
skate in
goals.
circles
and
shoot balls
Yeah.
into nets and pucks into nets.
They're not playing broom ball.
And so they refused. They did not come out, and they refused to wear the rainbow thing. And it was just for the warm-ups.
But it's a rainbow. It's everybody who sees a rainbow in real life. I want to know what person has gotten angry at a real rainbow.
Well, apparently,
Other than the Lucky Charms leprechaun who can't get to that fucking pot of gold.
I can't either. And we saw a rainbow the other day.
We did see a rainbow.
Apparently,
Well, technically, the leprechaun can get to the end of the rainbow, but it's the other people that are trying to get to it.
That's right. They're trying to get
That
his
would-
pot of gold.
They would
Well-
take
He's
his
angry
leprechaun.
that they're trying to get his Lucky Charms.
it's a lot of.
No, you're the one, Liz.
No, my lord. I eat Lucky Charms almost every weekend.
That's true.
She got mad at me
I
when.
got mad because he ate all the cinnamon toast crunch.
that was like literally like a week ago.
You know that's my weekend cereal.
Well, you could have bought some more.
Well, we were house hunting.
All right. Anyway, so it's a lot of like just people who can't think beyond their nose that get upset because there is a rainbow flag that was created in the 1970s.
Am I doing it? Am I cross-eyed?
Liz and I both look at our nose at the same time.
Am I cross-eyed though right now because I can't look to see?
Like, I can't tell through the camera.
Oh,
I'll
damn
say
it.
yes.
Oh God, it hurts my eyes now.
I cannot wait until we get our new house and we put the rainbow flag up and we piss off neighbors. I can't wait.
Again.
Well, it's not Utah, so I'm hoping that it'll
No,
be less
but-
pissed off of neighbors.
And actually, the places that we are looking at.
Yes, our house in
county-
Utah has sold. We have no house. We are
We are
fully living at my
technically
parents'
homeless.
house. We technically have.
unhoused.
We are guests.
We are unhoused.
Our Utah house finally sold, and
And the places
we
that we're
are
looking.
either moving to Roseburg, Oregon, or Oak Ridge, Oregon. That
Which
is up for grabs
both
right now.
voted blue.
Oak Ridge is a small town, a small mountain town, and Roseburg is more of a city town of Oregon. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like
So if you have
small
thoughts on
mountain
where we
town
should live, we should
versus-
do.
Thank you,
We
Jack.
should do a Twitter poll. Where should we live?
let's do a poll right now. Should we live less civilization, small mountain town, Milky Way visibility? More
actually-
city life, easier access to conveniences.
How
Town.
far away from the nearest hospital?
And
That's a good question.
Hour-ish.
That actually has been a topic of conversation about this
Uh,
because I actually need it.
nowhere in Oregon is easy access to an airport unless you live in Portland. Otherwise, you just have these small ass airports.
Eugene and Salem are
Yeah, but it's like puddle hopper airports that.
But Salem International?
No. I think the
Portland
only
is.
international is Portland.
No, but Eugene's a pretty decent sized airport, though.
Is it?
Right, but
Yeah.
but
Maybe
it's just going to be a
closer to-
regional airport. It's not gonna be. Eugene's
Well,
not gonna be
let's say
international.
this. Oak Ridge, Oregon is a small mountain town that's adorable, definitely small mountain town, but we did see more rainbow flags than we saw Trump signs.
Yes, we did. And I can't tell you how happy it is that they are the new rainbow flags. So, it's not like 1970.
Also, the best freaking burger that I got was at the Three-Legged Crane Pub and Brewery in Oak Ridge, Oregon. It was a blue apple bacon. It had slices of green apple on it.
It was
with blue cheese
delightful.
and bacon, and they brew their own beers. And I got the Irish Stout, and it was a dark beer, and it was very delicious. I enjoyed it immensely.
And I have to say that a guy in Oak Ridge at the
Lion Mountain Bakery.
At the Lion
which
Mountain
had a
Bakery.
really
By the
good
way,
breakfast
if you're ever in
burrito.
Oak Ridge, which you probably won't be, but if you ever are, stop by Lion Mountain Bakery. It's great. But he actually forced me and Liz to really kind of look at ourselves for a minute, and
We judged him.
we judged him. We did judge
Unfairly.
him, and it really was a thing. He was a great guy, and we basically asked him. We're like, hey, this is gonna be a weird question, but what's it like to live in Oak Ridge, Oregon? It's such a small town, and all this kind of stuff. And he was very honest. He did say he did say he's been there most of his life, that he loved it there.
We're estimating he's maybe mid to late 20s.
Mid to late 20s, and he basically did the speech where, it's great, love it here. It is a small town. There is a Facebook group for people that come from cities to this small town to help them acclimate.
Small town life.
Which was great. And then he was like, we have a community theater. There are some quote unquote, his words, undesirables.
No. He said there's a seedy part of town that you can avoid, but
Oh, I thought he said just
no. Well, he did, but he said that people ask him that. He said that he actually gets that question quite a lot. In the summer, they're very touristy. There's a lot of hiking, mountain biking. It's like the mountain biking capital. And so he said people he thinks are undesirables to the town, he will lie about living in Oak Ridge to deter them from their interest in Oak Ridge.
So
which apparently
it
he
was
didn't
great.
think we
It
were
made us feel
undesirable.
better.
So
It made us feel better. But he walks away, does his thing, and so Liz and I are having this real conversation about like Karl Marx and capitalism, but we also, is this some place that we could live? And we're in this. It's the Mountain Lion Bakery, but it also has community theater.
It has a community
in it.
theater in the building, and then like these like local like vendors have like little like cases of like handmade jewelry and
so
artwork.
So he comes back, and part of this Karl Marx capitalism conversation that we have is interspersed with, this could be a great opportunity for us to get out of our shell. Because,
and
yes, we're on this podcast.
In the community.
We do this podcast, but we really are introverted people, and we don't really.
But we could implement like a star party and our planetarium skills and bring that to the town in more so than we could in say a larger city.
So
like
showing
Roseburg.
people the University telescopes, being active in the community theater, and so we asked him when he came back at the end of the thing, like, can I take your place? So if we wanted to get involved with the community theater, which is in the same friggin' building space. How do we do that? And he was like, you can ask me.
He's on the board.
I'm on the board.
The owners of the Lion Mountain Bakery are on the board.
The owners are on the board, and I am directing the next play.
He's directing,
we were like, what? Because in my
about
head,
tomatoes.
I really had...
We had redneck vibes from him. We had redneck conservative vibes from him, and now I'm like...
You had your own Schitt's Creek moment.
Yeah, we had our own biases that we came in with, and then we were like, "Oh,
it made
shit,
me."
We were being judgy assholes.
We were being those people, and those people that I hate, and it made me go, "Oh shit, I was those people." And
my mom did say I light up when I talk about Oak Ridge.
Yeah, I've told you that. So Yeah, I do think we need to move to Oak Ridge. But that's
Sounds
just
like
me.
the decision
Well,
has been made.
if our realtor is stalking us on this episode still, we gave her the link to the...
No, she's not. There's 2 people.
Okay.
And I'm one of them.
All right. We gave our realtor the link to the podcast to check out. So,
Wait a minute. No, that's not right because we have 2 people, but then we have your mom, Brandon.
well, Brandon's not... That's only who's
And Jack.
watching on
Your mom, Brandon,
my-
Jack.
I am watching on YouTube. I have it on the screen,
okay.
so I can keep up with the chat.
So we have
Interesting.
3 people. But
Okay.
anyway, no, I have basically said that I am happy in either location. When we have 2 locations that we're looking
We have
at,
2 houses that...
and when I think of when I have where I'm living in my head, I'm looking out of the window of one of those locations, which is not Oak Ridge. It is Roseburg.
Yeah, but that's only
That
because of
said-
that immediate view of a living room.
Right. And that said, and this view is a view of the valley and that type of thing. And it's out of the living
Very
room
nice
window.
view.
The Oak Ridge house, and I'm sure everybody really wants to hear this, but
Yeah. We'll let them decide where we're gonna live.
yeah, so you guys
Jack, it's up to
decide.
you. Where are we gonna live? Small town or
or
town?
or close to
or
convenience.
regular town?
But yeah, I told you that you seem happy with Oak Ridge. That's where you get your feels. And I told you in this very room that I think that's where we should be. And like I said, I am happy in either location because I can get to the medical services that I need in either location. It's just that one's a little bit longer than the other. And to be honest, it's probably 15, 20 minutes longer than the other.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have a plan.
And if we're closer to nature, we're doing more outside activities, which is
which
better
is
for
going to
our
lower
health.
my blood pressure
So
and reduce my aorta to like a well, actually it won't reduce.
does it not reduce?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope. It is this size at a
It's not-
minimum
well,
forever.
let's just wait. It keeps it from getting bigger.
It keeps it from getting bigger.
Yeah.
And we are a family
Anyway.
that has boats. We have 2 boats.
Well, and when we say that, we mean inflatable
It's 2
kayaks.
It's 2 kayaks.
It's inflatable kayaks. Those are our boats.
You know what? It makes me feel rich.
It's the cheaper kayaks.
It makes me feel rich.
We have the cheapest kayaks
It makes me feel like I can
from
be on
Amazon.
lifestyles of the rich and famous with my boats.
Anyway, but the Oak Ridge house has more room for, say, Brandon to come and stay
sleep.
with us. Yes.
And also like your parents and Katie and
Jack,
Adam.
Jack, you're welcome.
Jack,
To
you're welcome to come. And oh God, there's so many rivers.
come. My God, the rivers. Whether we're at Roseburg or Oak Ridge, rivers everywhere.
But especially in Oak Ridge, like we would
Lakes and rivers.
We would turn a corner, and to be honest, I realize it's the same fucking river. But we would.
River.
It was rivers everywhere and lakes. There were at least a couple lakes we saw.
And yeah, we sip wine on the yachts on the weekends. Yeah, we'll just in our
With
inflatable
pinky
kayaks.
out.
Just
Pinky out.
We'll record an episode from our kayaks. But an extra plus of Oak Ridge, the Milky Way will be visible. No, hardly any light pollution. We get a very nice night sky, which the last time that I saw a beautiful night sky was probably when Mike, and Brandon went camping in the fly hell.
Oh my God! The
fucking daytime fly hell.
Speaking of cupids,
Yeah, where we went
So
a couple of years ago.
yeah,
So,
I will let Brandon tell you his story about the first time presenting to me and Liz.
we've
and,
told that story ad nauseum.
Okay,
Brandon
well,
doesn't
we'll let him do
relive
it because I'm pretending like we haven't told that story. But
I'm trying to close out the episode. So we can
but it's
hang
not
out
going to
with
happen.
Katie.
And so Brandon got lost looking at the planetarium sky. That's how I felt.
That's when we first went to Alamo Lake State
Yep.
Park with the telescopes for a Star
I
Party
was
event.
lost.
And working at the planetarium, you think, oh, we got this. We got this night sky.
We did
but
not
we
have
went
it.
out there and I looked up and I was like, oh no. I was like, there's so much more and it's so much bigger because it's not in a 60-foot dome.
There were so
spread
many.
out, and I was like, holy crap. My first time seeing the Milky Way and just that many stars was mind blowing.
Yeah, it's insane. All right, close it out.
Anyway, Well, now I don't. I gave so many segues. Anyway,
Close this out.
Inflatable yachts.
Look,
Yep, they're inflatable
for-
yachts.
to
There's
make
your
a
segue.
to make a better world, go outside on your inflatable boat at night.
Drinking
on a
wine.
river, drinking wine with your pinky
Drinking
up.
Pinky
box
out.
wine.
I like
Except
to
I
drink
need
with
to
my
go like
pinky
this.
up.
There.
I know. I
can't.
like your
Pinky
weird.
out.
Your weird, no,
Okay,
I
this
want your
one.
weird pinky. Okay.
My
Look
finger
up at the
is-
night sky and just look and imagine all the stars that you see, or if you're in a city area, the 4 stars that you can see. They're light years away from us right now, and we all belong to the same universe. We're all the same, and we need to come together right now.
Right now. Over me.
Yes. Anyway, thank you for joining us on this episode of Cosmos with Cosmos' Hangover.
Which
Follow us.
was a ride.
Yes, on all the things at Drinking Cosmos on Twitter, Cosmos with Cosmos everywhere else, Spotify, Google, Apple, Anchor.fm. Check us out.
Message us on where we should live.
So
Cheers.
Yeah, vote on where we should live forever.
For the next
Otherwise,
20 years.
thank you for joining us, and we will
Thank
see you next time on Cosmos the Cosmos.
It'll be
Topic
something.
to be determined. We'll let you know.
And it is time to not sleep because then I'll wake up at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
that-
Brandon,
that-
stay awake. We'll just text you like every 5 minutes just to keep
I
you
don't know how
awake.
this is going to work.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Cheers,
thanks,
everybody.
everyone.
We'll see you. Stay
See you guys.
safe. Stay healthy.
Give me
Stay
a
alive.
Give me a
Stay
sec.
alive.
Give me a second. I gotta end everything manually
Oh my
because
God.
we're
What are we doing here?
Why don't we have this on a button?
because my iPad died. Bye.
Well, you know, that's just